Hey, this is Andy.
And Randy.
And we're here on AT Corner.
Being an athletic trainer comes with ups and downs, and we're here to showcase it all.
Join us as we share our world in sports medicine.
Welcome back to another episode of AT Corner. For this story episode, we are going to put out a reminder that I think we all need sometimes, and that is...
athletic training is fun.
Yes, it is. It is fun, especially if you work with collegiate student athletes.
No, secondary and middle school, we got a lot of those stories.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't really worked that setting, so I could see that being fun too.
Yeah, I mean, when I worked with performing arts, it was really fun too.
See, again, it just goes back. Athletic training's fun. It doesn't matter where you are.
Well, you know why? It's because the atmosphere that you're in, it's like so casual. It's not like you need to have a business front and...
yeah, not super serious.
Yeah.
Like that?
Exactly. I just think like the moments that we get to spend with our athletes and our patients wherever you're at is just, the relationships you build. It's just a fun environment. And that's why so many of us are athletic trainers.
For sure. And you know what? I think a lot of it ties into the fact that we see our patients, at least in most of our settings, we see our patients almost every day. Mm-hmm. So you really get to know them and like their personalities, what they like, what they think's funny. They get to really get comfortable and just show who they are. Exactly. Which is sometimes very comical.
So originally this was going to be another burnout episode, which we haven't done in a while. Mm-hmm. But then I was like, you know what? I feel like we've been doing a lot of BOC episodes. We've been doing a lot of like...
we've been doing a lot of serious.
A lot of serious. I think we needed to take a step back and realize athletic training is fun.
You know what's funny is when people like ask me about work and stuff, like how I describe it is I really just play all day. Like, that's really what I'm doing. It's not work.
Yeah, even the paperwork.
Well, that part's really cool and useful. So yeah.
Of course you would say that. So I did start us off with a funny story.
Okay.
Do you want to read this one from our MVP Nicolette?
MVP Nicolette! Nicolette says, honestly, the best moment was when I was making a soccer athlete a single leg balance on a Bosu ball, and he lost his balance and stuck his hand directly into the ranch that my colleague was eating her carrots with. Funniest moment of my career. That's pretty funny.
I can just picture that.
My skin would curl because I do not like ranch at all. So if my hand landed in ranch, I'd be like, oh.
What if your athlete's hand landed?
I would laugh. I would think that's the funniest thing ever.
I'm just glad it wasn't her ranch because, like, as someone who loves food, if my athlete stuck their hand in my food, I'd be very upset.
Very mad, yeah. That's
hangry.
That'd be a bad day for that athlete. Rehab just got harder.
I would not be reminded that athletic training is fun. We have another good laugh. This one's anonymous. I was sideline taping on the ground. I often use my bag to prop up the leg to get a good, clear ankle for taping. Somehow, as I'm going along, the strap to my kit that I'm using gets caught up without either of us noticing. I finished taping and I was looking for windows in the tape / doing checks when he lifted up and I saw the strap taped in. We had to cut it off and do it again. We had a good laugh about it, and now it's a good story to tell my AT students coming through our site.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I was like,
that's pretty funny.
That is, I've heard of people like sewing, like when they learn to sew, like they sew whatever to their pants. I've heard of that before.
Oh my gosh,
this is
so
a new one.
That's pretty funny. I'm just trying to think of all the times I've had to do that, like just like taping on the ground, having my kit. I couldn't imagine getting my strap taped in somehow.
Sometimes I tape my hair to their ankles.
Really?
Yeah, if I don't have my hair back. Most of the time I have my hair back if I'm going out, but
really?
Like if every once in a while, if I like lean over and I'm like, oops, just taping my hair to you.
That's wild. That's crazy. I didn't think of that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's why I don't like to work in a tie.
Oh yeah.
Because when you're taping, it gets all up. Well, it gets in the way for 90% of the things we do, but that's why bow tie is better. Big bow tie guy. And when they're fun bow ties, by the way. See, again, athletic training is fun.
So I also asked on our Instagram stories, I put up some prompts. One of the questions I asked was if you've ever had an embarrassing moment in your career, like within athletic training.
100%.
95%.
Yep.
95% of people have had an embarrassing moment, which I mean, I feel like I have, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I know we have some cart stories later, and I have 3 cart stories, I think.
What's up with you and carts,
that I can
man?
share. I don't know, and they were all different carts too. Well, one of them is not really a cart. One of them happened in a cart.
That's a cart story.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's a cart story.
Do you have any embarrassing moments?
100%, absolutely. So most of what I can remember are from when I was a student.
Okay.
I got cooler once I got the credential. There was one time I had a rotation with baseball, and it was fall ball, so naturally we got to play 14 innings just because. Mm-hmm. And someone wanted ice. Well, we keep a giant roll of bags in the dugout. Uh-huh. So I grabbed the roll. I'm like, you know how, because it's not attached to anything, so you have to like do it with your hand, but you can't like just hold it while you do it out because it doesn't roll. So you have to like toss it a little bit to get the roll going, right? Well, I dropped the roll, and not only did I drop the roll, it rolled down the dugout. That was a win for the day.
I thought you were gonna say it rolled into the field of play.
Nope, just down the dugout.
I bet you the guys loved that.
Oh yeah, and don't worry. At the beginning of that game, I forgot the bottles. We were setting up the field, forgot the bottles. Yep, had to get the bottles. Let's see, what else? A lot of times it's like spilling a cooler.
Yeah.
Or spilling ice. Luckily, I never really did the cooler that bad. A lot of times it was like an ice chest, because when I was a student, where we were at, the door was like somewhat narrow, and like the cart that we had to push out stuff literally was almost the exact fit for the door. So if you were off at all, or whatever you were like pushing, the load was off and it hit the door, it could fall, right? So that happened a few times. I'm trying to think, as a certified, I know there's got to be something embarrassing.
I did something the other day. I just got to work, and I didn't want to like. Usually I get to work and like that's my admin time, so I go and sit at the computer, but I was like, I don't want to sit at the computer. I'm just going to go into the clinic. So I walk over, and it's not like my athlete's treatment time, so like other people are doing treatments and stuff. And so I'm just trying to like make busy and like do something that's not on the computer, and I saw that the countertop was dirty, so I was like, oh, I'm just going to like clean the countertop. So then I go over and I notice we have this oily like massage lotion, like a massage cream, and it's in a tub, and I was like, oh, the lid's not on. So I went to grab it, and I went to twist it, like, because it's like a jar.
Yeah.
So, and it's a plastic jar. So I went to twist it, but it's like super oily, and it's like oily on the outside too, which is disgusting. So anyway, like I go to twist it, and like it's like the lid is literally stuck on, but it's like stuck on like oblique. And so then I go to twist it, and it just like shoots out of my hand, but I then like catch it.
Okay, nice.
So then I was like, oh, perfect. Like I should have stopped there.
Yeah.
Because that was a win. I almost dropped it.
It looked cool.
Right. Everyone was like, oh, cool. Well, I was like on high, right? So I was like, oh, I'm going to try this again. Like not thinking, duh, this is oily. I should really use a towel. So then my hands are already oily. I go to twist it again. And this time it does the same thing. Like it shoots up in the air. Yeah. I can't catch it. It goes slamming straight down to the floor. And the lid shoots off. All of the massage lotion goes straight up, all up my pants, literally up to my thigh. Like it hit the floor. Yeah. Went all over my shins, straight up to my thigh. I just got into work. This is like this is like 2 weeks ago.
What a start to the day.
This is like literally recent.
Well, I was going to say this question about embarrassing things, because again, like I said, once I became certified, I became super cool.
Of course.
I feel like this is a better question for my athletes. What do I do that's embarrassing? And I guarantee you there's going to be a lot more
Dad
that they
jokes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so I work basketball now, so I hang out a lot with them. So I've been Euro stepping a lot. Literally, I'll just take a Euro step out of nowhere, and I'll be like, dang it, rubbing off on me.
No, you know what's the worst is when you start saying the things your athletes say.
Yes.
Like right now, the big thing is I'll be like, okay, you need to do this, and they'll be like, bet.
That's right. You know what? I do have to say, I think the other day it got pretty embarrassing because I don't know what made us say it. It was actually all three of us, like my other coworker colleagues. I don't know what brought it on, but we all started having Gen Z lingo. We came out with like, yeah, man, there's a lot of Riz in here. And I'm pretty sure someone went, she. So, yeah. Yeah, the look we got from a few of the athletes was like, those are moments like that really make you feel, ooh, man, I'm getting old. When they start to cringe when we start saying their lingo. But you know what?
Goodness.
Bet.
So we have another embarrassing story this one's from Christina S. She said, first time really seeing my boys' basketball team since I had been with football, and I went to the gym to talk to coach. I was wearing shoes that didn't have any traction on the soles.
Oh, no.
You know where this is going. A ball came rolling towards me, so I instinctively used my foot to stop it. I think she was a soccer player.
Okay.
I instinctively used my foot to stop it, but in doing so, the motion I used caused me to slip, and I ate it and landed so hard on my left glute. The whole gym went silent while they tried not to laugh. Coach helped me up, and I got out of there. The kids will bring it up even years later. P.S. I had an awful bruise for a week.
Oh, that's the worst. That's the worst when it lingers. Because not only do you have the athletes remembering, but you also have the lingering bruise for a week to remind you. Yeah, no, I got that.
Okay, so speaking of how athletic training is fun and Christina S.
Mm-hmm.
And basketball, I feel like this is the perfect segue because...
It hits all elements.
Yeah. One of her athletes from 3 years ago is now one of my athletes. And I think one of her athletes is also one of Randy's athletes.
Yep.
So, and we've never met Christina in real life. This is like extra special because I feel like we just made this bond somehow through the podcast. Community is awesome. And so now this athlete and
she's just giving us her athletes.
I know. And she submits so many stories. We love them. They're great. So anyway, this is a surprise for Christina. I didn't tell her this was happening, but I've been working with her athlete who is now my athlete. And I said, hey, I need to know how did Christina make athletic training fun?
Okay.
So I have a video of him.
All right.
All right. How does Christina make athletic training fun?
Christina, when I was there 3 years ago, she used to have great, amazing vibes in the athletic training room, I used to be the DJ, so I know all about it. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
So that's a bond. We already have an instant bond. Thank you, Christina, for letting me piggyback on your rapport with your athletes.
Yes.
So now I have some rapport. But I just thought that was going to be really fun. That just another reason why athletic training is so fun.
Oh, 100%.
I'll share one of my card stories.
Okay.
So I think I've already shared this. I think I shared it. I don't remember. It wasn't in the baseball episode because in the baseball episode, I wasn't working baseball yet.
Okay.
So my second season working baseball. So I already know the guys, especially the returners. I have really good rapport with the team. We're cleaning up from a game. We took 2 trips down because our ATR was pretty far from our baseball field. And on the way back, I was like, well, the coolers are empty. We don't have to take 2 trips down the second time, right? Let's just take everything in one cart. Let's Tetris it.
Yeah.
So then I put everything on the cart and the treatment table was on top. And then on top of our crutch bag, we have 2 empty 10-gallon coolers. And I was like, man, these are going to fall. But I took the treatment table, which was also going to fall, and I strapped it around one of the 10-gallon coolers. I think there's a picture on Instagram of this. And so I put that on. And then I was like, oh yeah, and I felt so cool. Me and I don't remember who my student was at the time, but my student and I were like, oh, this is so cool.
Yeah.
We did a good job. We got everything on the cart, and so then I whip around, right? I'm leaving the baseball field, and I was like, oh, the guys are saying bye. So I stopped because I was like, I felt so cool, and I was just like whipping around and they were like waving by. I waved by. And then as soon as I went around them, all of a sudden we hear boom, 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 boom.
Oh, no.
And then like, luckily they're empty, but like the coolers are spilling out of the
That's
cart.
the worst.
And I was like, I just went from feeling so cool to like
That's why
literally not like right in front of the athlete, just like boom, everything spills out of the cart.
That's why we can't have nice things.
Everything was fine. It was fine. See, it wasn't really a cart story. It was more of a Tetris story.
But it happened on a cart.
It did happen on a
It
cart.
involved the cart.
Yes. Well, considering we're still on page 1 of 6 of our stories, I think we're gonna have to split this into 2 episodes. So
might be a good idea.
The cart stories might actually be in part 2.
Oh man, I gotta wait for those.
Yeah, they're really good though.
Okay.
One of them's not it's fun. It's not fun, but it's funny.
What's up with you in the carts?
It wouldn't be. No, it's not my story.
Oh, okay.
Someone submitted it.
Okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Okay, here's another one. You want to read this one?
Yes, this one's by Audric W. First time working hockey, jogged out to an injury and couldn't stop. So I slid right into the injured player.
Hopefully it wasn't too bad.
I know, that's... You know what? I mean, it definitely might... like you said, hopefully it's not too bad. So hopefully it lightened the mood.
Right.
When he gets out there.
Just like, boop.
Oh, hey. So what's going on?
Yeah. I mean, I've never worked hockey, so luckily I've never had to manage sliding on the ice. But I did have an athlete who I was spine boarding, end up having a spinal cord contusion, and his mom tripped over his legs.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. But you know, that kind of also reminds me of like the little dance that you do when like an athlete's like rolling around and you're like trying to talk to them, and then and then they roll over and you're like, and then they like go around and then they roll over again and they like go back. And you're like, stay in one place so I can talk to you, so I don't have to like do this awkward crawl. Or
the dance of, do I go? Am I going?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one's a great dance right there. Like, especially when it's soccer.
Oh.
Because that one's a little more like, hey, you get the ref for most things. You have to wait to get the signal.
I think it's more basketball, because at least soccer.
That's true.
They tell you when.
That's true.
You just have to kind of stand there and wait, which is so annoying.
Yeah.
Like, I think I should be able to decide, but
yeah,
I don't work soccer, so that's an outside perspective. So, kind of what I was talking about earlier with Christina S being a soccer player. I knew this because she also talked about how one time she got to play in her boys' soccer alumni game.
Oh, that's cool.
And she said, I scored a banger of a goal to tie the game up.
Nice. That's awesome. See, once you get certified, you just become instantly cool.
Yeah, is that what it is? Do you just diss all of our student listeners?
No, I'm giving them hope for the future.
Okay. So one time I was in I had to think about this for a second because I was in the gym, but I think our women's soccer team was playing like indoor. And the ball, like I was talking to our women's soccer coach and the ball kept coming towards me and I just like trapped it with my foot. And I have no clue what that means, by the way. Like I just like just did it because it was coming at me and my arms were crossed. So
and you had a good touch.
Yeah, and the soccer coach would not stop talking about it. And she was like, "Oh my goodness, like, wow, we need to get you on the team." And I was like, "No, I don't even know anything about soccer."
My favorite was for one of my women's basketball teams. I was at practice, and at a certain practices, they would end with everyone doing a free throw. Like everyone would be at the baseline, someone would make a free throw, and then they switch. All right. Well, this one, I think it was towards the end of the year, and they were about to finish up, and they're like, "All right, Randy, go ahead." I was like, "Okay." So I go. I'm like, the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm like I can't miss this free throw. Like I just can't miss this. Luckily, I did make it.
Oh, good. I
did make it, but that was pretty cool.
I wouldn't have made it. 100%.
Sometimes, like when I'm putting stuff away, I have to go through like because we have a storage area, like through the a basketball gym. And every now and then, like, there'll be guys like getting their shots up, like after practice and whatever. And like sometimes a ball will come to me and like naturally shoot a three pointer because
of course
I'm totally a shooter, sure. And it's the best feeling when you like that just one shot and you nail it and everyone's like, whoa!
Wait, you're out here at work making 3-pointers and just casually?
Okay, look, my shooting percentage in our gym right now is very low. So when I make one, that's usually where I stop. I'm like, okay, cool, I made that one because like. How do you follow up that one shot you make and they're all like, ooh, right? You can't, like, you're done. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's my shooting performance for the day. 1 for 1. That's it.
I did not play a ball sport, so I rarely try and.
You've been throwing the football around.
I'll throw the football around, but like it takes me a couple throws to warm up before I get that spiral back. So most of the time, like I'll like, it depends. Like if it's just gonna be a one throw, I'll just do like a little underhand toss, like a little like.
Oh, the referee toss. Yeah,
the little ref toss. But if we're gonna have a little bit of time, I'll like,
you bust out the wing.
Well, then they get like super when they think you're like, oh, you can't throw, and then they're like, oh, whoa. Actually, so what I was gonna say was. So, like, I don't typically participate in the ball sport aspects, but I did just yesterday, actually. Last night, one of my athletes, I was taking him through some, like, post-ACL rehab kind of stuff. And some of the guys were making fun of him because he could only broad jump 2 yards.
Okay.
And so, and I was with my strength and conditioning coach, and we were just, like, just, like, talking. And they're like making fun of him and like whatever. And then I started telling the story about how one of our friends, their kid is the last time I did a broad jump was next to this kid. He's 5 years old. He could broad jump probably 80% of my broad jump.
Yes. Yeah.
And he was 5. But his dad is a D1 football player and his mom was a professional dancer and ballerina. So I was like, this kid has like genes to like
for sure
100% has the genes. So anyway, we were making fun of that. And so then they're like talking, and then my strength coach was like, that's unacceptable. Like your broad jump cannot be that short. And I was like, well, let's see. And I took off my fanny pack and I put it on the bench.
Oh, that's when it gets serious.
I took out my phone from my pocket. And I stood where the kid was standing, and I did a broad jump just as far as he did. And this kid's like this big, like not big. He's like a linebacker.
Yeah.
So so then they were all like making fun of him even more because they're like, oh, when was the last time Sandra broad jumped? And she could broad jump just as far as you. She's gonna like just give her a little bit more practice, and she'll get past you. Yeah. And dude, my hamstrings, just from the one, I was like toast.
Oh yeah, man. Like my kiddos will try and get, like, they'll be doing something like, oh, do this, right? They'll try and do something athletic. I'm like, nah, guys, I'll blow out both ACLs. Like, I gotta, like, nah. I can't do that. Sometimes,
and it's only if I'm not wearing my fanny pack, but sometimes, like, the guys will throw me a really long pass and I'll, like, run and catch it. Just the other day, I caught a kind of a deep pass, and they just got so excited.
That's pretty funny.
It was pretty fun. So we actually got a story from one of my former students who is now certified. He's working in minor leagues. Actually, you want to read this one?
Yes, this one's by Jonas H. We sometimes have staff in and out of BP. The athletes are always hyping us up. I've had a few ask why am I not still playing. Sometimes, if it's a slow day or light day during our practice days or instructional camps, we have staff BP. Since 90% of the staff used to play baseball, we like to see what skills we still have left in the tank.
Oh my gosh.
We have the staff members who used to be pitchers, throwing to the staff who used to be hitters. Sometimes the players will watch us to make fun and hype us up. It's a good way to unload some stress. After all, it is a long season. Yes, It is a grind. Mm-hmm. I for sure like I like playing catch, and like when I get to do return to throwing, when I had like softball. Like that was always fun because I get to bring out the glove and get the old arm ready. So that was always pretty fun. I always like doing that, but sometimes I gotta dial it back because like I'll get like pain in my fingers. I'm like, oh, that's not good.
No, that's not good.
I got a little neuropathy. We should probably back it off.
So Jonas taught me a lot of the sport of baseball and kind of like the tips and tricks from being a player, like an athlete himself. Kind of like that's how I learned what a pro hitter was and kind of like some of the lingo. I always say, I feel like I picked up baseball pretty quick because
well, there's a lot of time out there.
Right.
To pick it up.
But I always say that it's like baseball is my second language because I can understand it, but I can't speak it as well. Like I'll call things like passed ball. I always heard it, but I never written it.
Yeah.
And so then when I was giving text updates to my coworkers, I was like, I didn't use the term, and they're like, "Oh, that's called a passed ball," and I was like, "Yeah, but I didn't want to sound stupid by typing the wrong word."
Yeah. So it was safer to put this instead. Mm-hmm. I used to keep score for baseball.
That's awesome.
I used to do the scorebook.
Not as an athletic trainer though.
No, this was a long time ago.
It's duties as assigned.
Oh, I didn't mean to say no. I got like focus on what I'm doing. I can't sit there and focus on the scorebook because that takes concentration. It takes a lot of concentration.
You want to read this one?
This one's by Michael P. Women's basketball only had 9 active players, and coach asked if I could run with them. First of all, I know that struggle of not having a lot of players for women's basketball. I think last year we were down to at 1.6. So I get it. Michael continues with, definitely will stick to my day job, but they were pleasantly surprised with my game.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's
seriously.
always good when you can like
get some surprise moments out there.
Oh yeah, I can see how that hypes them up.
I did 5-on-5, small group post drills, and shell defense stuff for 6 weeks or so. Dude. That's a long time.
I know. That's some commitment.
That really is. Until the season ended. They all definitely trusted me more for it, and we made it fun. That's awesome.
I know.
There was a couple times when I was a student that they needed like an extra person to like inbound.
An extra body.
Yeah. Inbound the ball or just like kind of be in a position. So that was kind of cool. Like they'd just be like, hey, can you just stand here? I need you to go like this when they were kind of doing walkthroughs of some plays. And I was like, okay. Okay. Sure. That was kind of cool.
That is cool. And you get to see
and
like,
then the athletes get all amped.
Oh, yeah.
I think it does kind of build that comfort level because it's like you're going in on what like the athletes go through. So it's like, oh man, like he gets it.
Right.
He understands what we're doing.
Right. One of my baseball coaches was like, oh yeah, you should get in on BP. And I was like, no, I will embarrass myself. But they did let me throw the first pitch when I was,
yes, they did.
I was leaving.
Yep.
That was like top career moment.
That was fun.
So fun.
All the guys, yeah.
I know. They were so hyped. That was like honestly one of my favorite teams ever to work with. Mm-hmm. And they signed a little baseball form. They signed 2. There's one after I threw my first pitch that says thank you. And then there's one that they signed all of their names on it. And they're both sitting right on my desk.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So this next one's from Sarah Y. She said, I used to play rugby in college, and I have, on more than one occasion, helped with tackling form and drills.
Nice.
I don't take anyone out because that's more paperwork for me, but I show them how to do it right.
There you go. See, that's a part of the job as an athletic trainer. Injury prevention.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. I was like, and it's kind of cool because not only
patient education.
Exactly. Rapport. They know who you are. They know you know what you're talking about because that's important.
Yep.
Just the other day, I got asked if, in football, okay?
Yeah.
I work football.
I'm sorry.
I was asked, no. I was asked if I know what kickoff was.
Yep.
And I was like...
Excuse me?
I just laughed. I was like, hold on. Did you just ask me if I know what kickoff is? Yeah, that kid. I didn't let that kid live that down.
And then the ultimate walk back. Whoa.
Yeah. was like, listen, I understand if you're like asking me something specific, like a cover 3 defense or like a, I don't know, a double team or something. Like, but don't ask me if I know what kickoff is. Like, that's
pretty
offensive.
bad.
Yeah,
it's pretty bad.
So anyway, I think it's important for them to know that you know
for sure
what you're talking about.
For sure.
Or if you don't, like, maybe use that as a bonding.
100%. I love asking my student athletes about stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Hey, like, what are we getting out of this drill? Like, what are we trying to focus on? Or like understanding like the scheme of what they're trying to do. Like, oh, like what does this kind of style of play mean? And like stuff like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I do like that. That's one of the best parts. Like when I get to talk to the athletes about like their sport, because I've never played organized basketball or volleyball, so it's kind of really cool to kind of learn and get kind of like what they do at practice and like what it's supposed to do to translate to the game. Mm-hmm.
So Alyssa M said, I was working college softball. They were playing wiffle ball for fun. The bat was a broomstick.
Fun. That's fun.
We were supposed to bat opposite hand. I did not. I'm left-handed and I hit left. I barely hit the third pitch. All the players were impressed, thinking that I hit it opposite hand, until I confessed that was the normal way I hit. I'm genuinely that bad at softball. I golfed through middle and high school, so softball is not my thing. It's a fun memory.
Well, hold on. Like, wiffle ball is not easy.
No.
That ball dances, so like, that's not easy. So I get it. Like, actually hitting it on the third pitch, that's pretty good, I'd say.
I just really love this one.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like golfing is such like a good skill to have professionally.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
A lot of people golf.
Right. Like, even I was just talking to one of my football coaches last night, and he was like, oh yeah, I golf, and my wife's trying to get into it, and this, and you know, because I asked him when he did this bye weekend, and he was like, oh, like I went with 3 of the coaches, and I was like, yeah, like it seems like good kind time. Of everyone.
Yeah. Well, it's a good time just to get out there and, you know, hang out with people. Like it does get frustrating, but that's why you just can't take it that serious, right? You're just out there to have a good time, hang out with whoever you're golfing with, and that makes it less frustrating. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have, usually every year we'll host one golf tournament at least. And last year I was lucky enough to cover it. I think next year, because like where I set up literally is in front of the driving range, I just need to bring my clubs.
Oh, yeah.
Bring my clubs.
Yeah, you don't follow them? You just stay in one spot?
No, because it's all like shotgun start. So they're like kind of all over the course. So it doesn't really like... It would be more difficult if I followed a group. So it's easier if I'm in one place, and then if they need me, I get carted out.
That makes sense. Did you have to get carted out?
Nope.
That's good.
Yep.
We have a really good memorable moment in softball as well.
Okay. This one's by Bryce A. Rehabbing a senior pitcher for softball just enough for her to be able to do one pitch for senior night. Had patella dislocation and had ongoing problems. Did rehab every day, but could not get much better. She resigned herself to not be able to play, but wanted senior night. That night came. Both teams knew what we were doing. She threw one good pitch, line drive back at her, and she snatched it clean out of the air. That's cool. I was the loudest person on our field, dugout stands, and I walked out and she cried and hugged me. That's awesome. That's really cool.
Athletic training is fun.
It is fun. Those moments are so great.
Right?
There was, I had a softball pitcher, same thing, like hurt her knee. She was out for a while. You know, we did a lot of rehab, and like finally she got to do some innings towards the end of the year. And the most unlucky thing for her, comebacker right at her, like, I think it was like at her knee. And I'm like, bro.
Oh my God.
This is not her year.
No.
But she was all right. She made it through.
That's good.
Yeah. But see, stuff like that is awesome. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think if there's anything like really big like that. Like really memorable like that.
I have one, but it was one of my... I'm not going to say what sport because I feel like it's too recent. one of my athletes was just struggling with a hamstring strain for way too long.
Yeah.
And even before I met him, he was dealing with some hamstring, and he had gone to like yoga, Pilates, like cross training, like all different sorts of things outside of his normal sport. And before he met me, we started doing some hip stuff. We started doing a lot of eccentric.
Nice.
He worked with me every single day.
Nice.
And actually, from the day that he first injured it, and he was a returning athlete of mine, so like I already had known him, but I knew that over the off season he was doing like a lot of work on his own, and then coming back in, I can't even remember if it was preseason or if it was non-traditional season. It was like right before the season, and he just felt a pop in his hamstring. And then this is before I started working with him, and then so he had already been dealing with it for a while, and then I was able to get him back. And I remember when he sprinted like so hard in this one game, and I just remember being so I went up to him after the game because I couldn't. There was some reasons why I couldn't go up during the game. I was actually not on his sideline.
Yeah.
Or not on his side, but we were playing against him, and it was after the game. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So thankful. That's probably my favorite moment.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Actually, just recently, that reminds me, we had a football team who came over, and I was going to talk to the other ATs, and then one of my old athletes came over, and like out of nowhere, like he was just on the sideline. He was not dressed in football clothes. He comes up and he gives me a big hug, and he's like, "Man, I'm so excited to see you. I knew we were playing you guys. I was really hoping I was going to see you." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, no way. I didn't know you transferred over here."
That's really cool.
It was like a surprisingly special moment. Or like, you know, when you see your old athletes like out?
Yeah.
Like one time I was going to my football coach's retirement dinner. And I walk in, and this is like an hour away from my house. I walk in, and the manager like beelines it for me.
Oh my gosh. And
I was like, at first I couldn't place, because he looked familiar, but I couldn't remember his name because he said, "Hey, this is whoever. Do you remember me?" And I don't remember him by that name. I never called him that name.
Yeah.
It was I called him his legal name.
Yeah.
So it was really confusing to me because I knew he was one of my old athletes, but as soon as he said that name, like it like derailed my train of thought. You know what I mean? Like I was gonna place him, and then he just said the name, and it just like gone, poof. But then I walk over, and then all my my old coworkers were like, we thought you were gonna get some sort of like special, and I was like, no, that's one of my old athletes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Yeah, I've had trying to think, when I was a grad assistant, I had a student athlete that worked at like Waba Grill or something. And I was hungry, went for lunch one time, and I went to that Waba Grill. I didn't even really think about it or like whatever. He was there. Got a free Waba bowl. No way. And he was like, no, don't worry about that. I'm like, all right. Wow. Thanks. I've heard like free Starbucks, but free Waba. You know what? One of my teams, I do remember my last, like my women's soccer team, they were literally pretty good about getting me Starbucks. Aww. Like every now and then they'd be going to Starbucks, and then they'd come back and be like, here you go. Oh, that's like, nice. Thanks, guys. That's really nice. That was cool. It helped because like Starbucks was like right across the street from where we were, so literally that's where everyone went. I think one of my most memorable food moments was when one of my athletes
he was like, literally, I think he should have gone to school to be a chef. He made
That's
this
cool.
savory gourmet meal that, and I guess it's like every once in a while he'd make food for like one or two of the coaches, but he kept telling me like, oh, I'm gonna make you food. And I was like, I'll believe it
whatever.
when I see it, right?
Yeah.
He brings me steak and some sort of lobster or like it was some sort of like seafood. It was a couple of years ago, so I'm trying to remember, like a year. I think it was like a year ago.
I think so.
Was it last year?
I think so.
I'm trying to remember. I have a picture of it because it was wow. It was like chicken and steak and seafood. I remember it was like 3 different types of, and then like some sort of like really fancy rice. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Like I was so honored. It was so good.
I do have to say my men's basketball team is really good about asking me if I want food.
Really?
Because they always go to like one of the whatever the local restaurants near us are, and they're like, "You want some?" I'm like, "No, I'm good, guys."
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's good.
They are very nice about it. Actually, just recently, I was working with one of our men's volleyball guys, and the conversation came up to like I like sweet tea, and he brought me sweet tea the next time he came in.
Oh,
yeah, it was really nice.
Cool.
Yeah,
actually,
and he offered me some chicken nuggets, and I said, "I'm good. You can eat your nuggies."
We have I won't share it right now because we'll put it in the next episode. But
man, part 2 is gonna be wild.
I know. Part 2 has nicknames, and one of them is Sweet Tea.
Oh, that's cool. The nickname ones, I'm ready because I figured
you would be.
I've got a lot of nicknames, and you know what's funny is that like every now and then there's usually one's pretty common, but most of them aren't that like similar. Like literally every time, every team, it's a new nickname. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. There's stuff I haven't heard before. I'm like, wow, I haven't gotten that one before.
So stay tuned, part 2.
Yeah, stay tuned.
So anyway, some of the other memorable moments that we got, just like in a question mark box. So some of these, I just kind of like condensed them.
Yeah.
One of them was getting a standing ovation at a football game.
That's pretty cool.
Isn't that cool?
That's pretty
That's
neat.
Totally memorable. Jumping.
I mean, you can't work anywhere else after that. Like that's it.
Right.
You just got to retire. That's a big moment right there.
It's a huge moment.
Yeah.
Jumping in the pool with my swim team and coaching staff after they win conference.
Oh, that's fun. That's cool.
A lot of people said like traveling. And then throwing tape ends.
Oh man, I'm on it right now because I have a taping table and there is a trash can in the table, but I don't want to use that. I don't know why. I don't want to use the trash can.
It's just hard to get out.
Yeah, and plus I feel like the custodial staff I don't think will realize that like, oh, that trash can can be emptied. Like
what we did? We would use that trash can, but at the end of the night we would dump it into the bigger trash can.
Oh, that's smart. That's cool.
So like we empty that trash can so they don't have to do that one, but it still gets emptied.
Well, maybe I should do that now. All right, anywho, so I throw my tape ends in the trash can that's across the room. And dude, I'll launch that bad boy. And every now and then I get a pretty good one. And like I have it's up against the wall, so sometimes I'll bank off the wall into the trash can. I'll do it obviously when I'm taping, so like there's a lot of athletes in there and it's pretty cool when I make it. Let's just say men's basketball gets really amped when I make it. They're like, whoa.
So we had a trash can like that, but it was like a really deep taping table. And so just like, I just got really good at just throwing in that one spot. Not saying like I have good aim in general, but like that, just cause like I would tape and then like throw, like literally like probably like an hour a day of taping, right?
Yeah.
For football throughout the, probably an hour.
Yeah.
Probably an hour. So anyway, like, I'm just throwing stuff away, and some of my guys were like, "Oh, did you play basketball?" Like, no, guys, I just do this literally all day.
A lot of practice.
Now I don't. We toss them at each other, but I don't have like the trash can's right next to it, so I don't really throw them in the trash can anymore. I'll toss them at people.
Yeah, Lucha, I'll try and find like some lingering athlete in the room.
Uh-huh.
I'll fire it at them.
I haven't gotten as many athletes. I throw more of my students.
Nice.
I feel like they're...
I don't have a lot of students in my room, so I got to find another target. It's my student athletes.
Another memorable moment that people put is making games and competitions with rehab exercises.
Oh, that's fun. That does make it fun.
Yeah.
Which again, it reminds us, athletic training is fun.
Athletic training.
You get to play.
Uh-huh.
Play all day.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to leave there's a rehab story, but I'm going to leave this one for...
Ooh, cliffhanger.
In 2 weeks.
Nice.
The next episode. Not
Part
the
2.
next episode.
Yeah.
The next story episode.
There you go.
So this is my plug for every other episode, if you guys are new, is education or story. So this one is a story episode. Next week is an education episode, which I believe is a CEU.
Yep.
So stay tuned for our CEU episode. Stay tuned for part 2 of these funny moments. If you have more funny moments, or if this made you think of a story, we have another part coming up.
Yes, we do.
So submit those stories. We do prompts on Instagram. I don't know if I'm going to put up prompts for next episode. Probably not, considering I have stories ready.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you have a story, please send it in. Like
we love hearing how you have fun at work.
Always. So I hope this was a good start to your day if you're listening in the morning. Maybe you're listening at night.
And you know what, like I said, I think it is a good reminder that, you know what? We do have a fun job.
We do have a fun job.
There might be a lot of stressful moments for sure, but definitely it's little moments like this that remind you that, man, this is pretty fun.
Yeah. So anyway, Randy, you got anything else?
Nope, that's perfect. Thank you for helping us showcase athletic training behind the tape. Bye.